You guys about that restaurant Subla? Has anybody ever been there since I said anything?
No.
Well, you're still missing out, and that's okay. It'll change your life.
Want to pay?
Maybe, yeah. You and me. Let's do it.
All right.
Just not everybody. I don't mind for that. Student
That's why
loans.
no one likes you.
Oh.
I like
Very
you.
Shots
personal.
fired.
I mean,
And then, but you guys do too with music. When you find a new track that you guys really like, you want to share with people. You want to be like, dude, check this one out, check this one out. And often it's on like on YouTube video or something. And so we've been doing the same kind of things with these stories about Jesus that we've been wanting to kind of share. And I've got another one that I want you guys, that I want to just paint a picture, a story that I want you guys to just pretend like you're there, come and see this kind of next story that we have about this Jesus dude. And this is honestly a story that I myself, someone who's familiar with the stories of Jesus, that I need to hear often. That's a good reminder to me. And it's about how Jesus went to great lengths to be your friend, to be my friend, to get to know us, to connect us with an all-powerful and loving God. And so I'm going to tell you a little about the story. And it starts actually with Jesus' death. So many of you guys know people walk around, school, whether they're religious or not. Usually they are, and they have a cross on their necklace, right? They kind of rock it as like a fashion statement, or it means something to them. There's a whole kind of plethora of reasons. But we don't think that, we think that's pretty normal because people do it. Like famous people do it, your friends do it, you see priests do it. But it's actually kind of a weird thing to be doing. Because what the cross was in ancient Rome, you guys remember in like junior high when you studied Rome, right?
no.
Like Caesar, don't remember that at all?
Caesar, like playing the games?
No, that's not, we're not getting there at all.
No.
Caesar.
But like in Rome, like with the Colosseum, the gladiator fights,
Oh!
conquering the world.
Wait.
I hope you guys know a little bit about this. As a future history teacher, I'm a little bit worried.
Talking about Zeus? Talking about Zeus?
Kinda, that's Greek, but yeah, we're getting there.
Moses?
Moses is even worse. I'm about to open my mouth right now.
Zeus is his Greek name, not his Roman name.
Wait.
Yes, you're right. Jupiter's his Roman name.
Pause.
See the movie Gladiator?
Okay, so yeah, what's some pop culture references to Rome here, guys? 'Cause this is- you guys seriously don't know, like the cradle of Western society? Like, we owe a lot of things of what we do to them.
Yes.
Right? Hey, talk about
Aqueducts, that's a thing.
Is it evil?
An eagle, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, this is not going to be as easy of a journey as I thought it was going to be.
Alright.
Anyways, so this ancient peoples,
Yes.
right? This ancient people, they're supposed to be these modern ancient people. They took over a large part of the known world at that time, which was in Europe, in Asia, in Africa, okay? They were people that conquered a lot of people, and one of the things they did to show their dominance was to crucify people. By crucifying people, putting people on a cross, was a way to humiliate them and to kill them in a very slow, painful way. The word excruciating comes from crucifying.
Whoa.
Wait.
Okay?
Mind blowing. Hold on.
Yeah, crazy, huh?
Rewind.
So, someone wearing a cross today, it's like the equivalent of us wearing, or a tattoo, is like us tattooing. Wait, hold on, guys, stick with me for a sec. Stick with me. Wearing something like that is like wearing some sort of torture device, like an electric chair, or wearing something like the death chair or something like that. Like, that's what that was used for back in the day. Crosses were used to humiliate people and kill them. It would take sometimes days for people to die on a cross. When people were hung on a cross, depending on how they're hung, there's a lot of different ways. But Romans would use this as an example. Say, you better not do what these guys did, because this is going to happen to you. What happened was they would drive a nail through your hands or through your wrist. And usually you're either on a single pole or as a pole with a beam. And they'd nail your hands to it, and then or wrap your hands with rope around them, and then put a nail through your feet. And you'd hang there. And often you were beat before that, so you would die either from having like a bacterial infection, or sometimes research has shown that the way you're hanging, it would be hard to breathe when you're like this. It would be hard to breathe. So what you would have to do in order to breathe was push up on that nail that's in your feet, or pull up on that nail, those nails that are in your hand. You'd have to pull up just to get a breath, and then you would sink back down. And if you didn't keep doing that, you would die. And this is something that would go on. Sometimes you'd sit for days. If you didn't die after a while, a Roman guard would take his spear, go between your legs, and break them. So you die a little. So it'd still be painful. You wouldn't die right away. It would just be more of a painful and excruciating thing. Sometimes they would impale you with different things. This is how they kill people that they didn't like and that they thought were criminals. In fact, well, let me read you something. This is kind of what happens the night that this dude Jesus, that this happens to him. It says, the soldiers led Jesus away into the palace and called together the whole company of soldiers. They put a purple robe on him because he claimed to be king of the Jews, and that's what actually he was killed for. He was here to bring a kingdom, to bring a new lifestyle. So they put a robe on him, twisted together a crown of thorns, and set it on him. And they began to call out to him, "Hail, King of the Jews!" And again, they struck him on the head. Another part of this book of the Bible, they would like cover his head and then smack him and say, "Who hit you? Tell us who hit you." Mocking him.
Did he know?
I'm sure he did. So this whole time he was silent. And again, they struck him on the head with a staff and spit on him. Falling on their knees, they paid homage to him in a mocking way. And when they had mocked him, they took off the purple robe and put his own clothes on him. Then they led him out to crucify him. Usually what you do, you have to carry this 300-pound cross. This is just a 2x4. Okay? You'd carry this. And by the way, Jesus was flogged 39 times before this happened, which was one less than usually you'd die from. And they carried him, or then they had him carry this to this place. And then they lay you down on a beam, put one of these on your wrist or in your hand.
Oh boy.
And they hammer it in.
Oh my God.
So it goes through your hand. And they do the same thing on the other side. The other outstretched arm. And usually they'd have to get another guard to hold your arm down because you didn't want this to happen. And they do the same thing to your feet. And then they would pick it up after digging a hole, and they would set him in there, and they left him. While people would stand there and watch, mock him. People would walk by, say, like, if you're so powerful, like those miracles you were doing earlier in your life, why don't you come down right now? And he just stayed up there, in a lot of pain. Because Jesus did things in ways that people didn't expect or like. People didn't expect a king to come the way that he did. So let me get back up now, that you know what Jesus was experiencing, and say, why did this happen? What got us to this point? And why does this matter? A lot of people were crucified, by the way. Later, after Jesus' life, they ransacked the town of Jerusalem, and crucified 6,000 people. And why did they do this? And why did they do this especially? And what's the significance of this one man being crucified? Look, this dude that we've been talking about for weeks, and we'll always be talking about, and we would love to talk to you guys about. So you guys have probably heard back, this book contains a lot of stuff, a lot of weird stuff maybe to you, a lot of confusing stuff, because a lot of it was written about a couple thousand years ago. You guys have probably heard the story of Adam and Eve, right? These two naked people in a garden, they ate an apple, and God was like, "I told you not to do that." But the significance of that story that we have in the Bible is it's humanity. It's people